Warriors, welcome back to the channel of Learning Philosophy. If you feel powerless, ignored, overlooked, and dictated by those above you, you're about to learn exactly how the elite maintain their dominance. Stay for the next few minutes, and you'll walk away with 10 forbidden Machiavellian laws of power that separate rulers from the ruled. Use them, or be ruled by those who do. Power is never granted. It's taken. Machiavelli understood that morality bends to strategy, perception controls obedience, and the world rewards the cunning while punishing the naive. Today, I'll reveal 10 power laws the elite practice silently while preaching kindness to the masses. Learn them, guard them, and use them like sharpened weapons. Let's begin. Law No. 1. The mask of virtue. The first law is subtle, silent, and deadly in its effectiveness. It is the mask of virtue. Understand this. In the real world, people do not follow the most capable, they follow the most believable. The masses judge based on what they see, not what you are. So to gain power, you do not show your ambition. You show goodness. You display humility. You wear morality like armor. Even if your heart is cold steel, your face must look gentle, harmless, trustworthy. It's the mask that earns access. It's the mask that opens doors no brute force ever could. When Machiavelli wrote about princes, he didn't glorify honesty, he glorified perception. He warned rulers that it is far more useful to appear virtuous than to be virtuous, because society forgives the charming tyrant but crucifies the blunt truth-teller. Watch how the world treats leaders. Notice how scandals are hidden behind charity events. Notice how corporations exploit millions, then donate to a cause for applause. That is the mask. That is how the elite maintains moral authority while committing strategic ruthlessness behind closed curtains. The public only sees the performance, never the backstage. You must learn to master this duality. In public, you speak of fairness, loyalty, unity. You talk about growth, kindness, understanding. You shake hands with a smile. You appear stable, ethical, dependable, because people hand power to those who look worthy of it. And when trust is earned, when your reputation is polished like gold, only then do you move with precision. You make calculated decisions without emotional interference. You remove threats with logic, not anger. And if anyone questions your intent, your mask shields you. People will defend you, not accuse you, because you trained them to believe in your virtue. The mask is not deception, it is strategy. You control how the world sees you, and perception is a currency stronger than money, stronger than muscle, stronger than truth, because truth matters less than belief. If they believe you are good, you can act with power. If they believe you are evil, even goodness will be twisted against you. Law No. 2. Control the narrative. The second law is brutal in its simplicity. Control the narrative. Power today isn't held by those who own armies, but by those who command information. The person who decides what people believe decides how people act. If you control the story, you control the minds living inside it. The elite knows this very well. They don't need to silence every voice. They just need to make their voice the loudest, the most trusted, the most repeated. Humans are wired not for truth, but for consistency. The version repeated enough becomes the reality. Think about it. One statement from a leader, a celebrity, a government, and millions adjust their emotions, their fears, their choices. Not because the statement is true, but because it is authoritative. A rumor repeated 3 times becomes a fact in public memory, a scandal ignored long. Enough fades into myth. A lie packaged beautifully becomes hope. And hope is powerful, because people will die for what they believe is true. Machiavelli understood that truth is negotiable when perception is controlled. He warned rulers to shape the narrative first, before rivals get the chance. You must adopt the same weapon. Speak your version of events confidently, firmly, without hesitation. People trust certainty more than accuracy. A hesitant truth sounds weaker than a loud lie. So you do not argue for permission. You assert dominance through storytelling. You define the meaning before others define it for you. The moment you speak with authority, others align their reality to your words. When something goes wrong, frame it strategically. If you fail, call it a calculated step. If you are opposed, label yourself misunderstood. If you are questioned, respond with calm logic, never defense. Because narrative collapses the moment you appear desperate to protect it. Instead, you guide perception like a chess master guides pieces, one move ahead, anticipating doubt before it forms. You give people the conclusion you want them to reach, and their minds will fill the gaps on their own. The elite doesn't fight truth, they redesign it. They don't suppress criticism, they drown it under a stronger story. Understand this: whoever controls the narrative never needs to prove their innocence, because belief itself becomes the shield and the sword. Law No. 3. Strategic silence. The third law is cold, disciplined, and devastating when mastered. Strategic silence. Most people lose power not because they are weak, but because they speak too quickly, too much, and too emotionally. They reveal intentions in the heat of excitement, expose vulnerabilities while defending themselves, and hand over leverage through unnecessary words. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is a weapon, a controlled vacuum that forces others to reveal themselves first. When you speak less, others speak more, and in their eagerness, they expose their desires, their weaknesses, their fears. Silence creates tension. Humans hate not knowing what you're thinking. They will project, assume, and often overestimate your power, because mystery triggers imagination. A quiet man in a room full of talkers appears more intelligent, more confident, more dangerous. While everyone wastes energy trying to appear important, you conserve power by observing, calculating, listening. Machiavelli understood that a silent ruler is unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds caution. People fear what they cannot read. Words once spoken cannot be taken back, but silence can be shaped endlessly. You can pause before responding to create pressure. You can withhold information to make others desperate for your approval. You can stay quiet during conflict, making your opponent reveal their entire strategy just to feel in control. And during negotiation, silence is a cage. The longer you wait, the more the other person tries to fill the void with concessions. They talk themselves into weakness. Strategic silence also protects your image. When you say little, mistakes are fewer. You don't expose goals prematurely. You don't defend yourself emotionally. You don't give enemies ammunition to turn against you. People begin to wonder why you don't rush to explain, and in their confusion, they start believing you know something they don't. That belief alone builds authority. A man who must constantly prove himself lacks power. A man who speaks only when necessary commands it. Use silence as a shield when provoked. Use silence as a sword when observing. Let others underestimate you, misjudge you, even feel superior for a moment, because their confidence will lower their guard. In silence, you gather information while they waste theirs. You become the enigma in the room, the one no one can fully predict, and in that uncertainty, you gain control over the entire atmosphere. Law No. 4. The threat of consequence. The fourth law slices cleaner than any blade. The threat of consequence. Power is not maintained through kindness alone. People respect boundaries only when crossing them comes with a cost. If there is no consequence, there is no control. Notice how the powerful behave. They don't need to punish often, they simply ensure everyone knows what happens when the line is crossed. Fear is the silent fence that keeps rebellion tame. It doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be certain. Look carefully at leaders, bosses, rulers. They rarely explode into chaos. Instead, they let one example speak for all. One person gets disciplined publicly, and suddenly everyone else behaves. Machiavelli warned rulers that being loved is useful, but being feared is reliable. Love is emotional. It changes with mood. Fear is logical. It survives even when love dies. The elite create a balance, a gentle hand for loyalty, steel for disobedience. The people closest feel safe, but those who betray feel the cold breath of consequence. This law is not about cruelty, it's about control. You must learn to make your boundaries non-negotiable. When disrespected once, correct it immediately. Delay breeds boldness. People test limits gradually, like thieves checking windows. If you let one disrespect slide, expect 10 more. But if your reaction is swift, calm, decisive, they will think twice before trying again. Punishment doesn't always mean aggression. It could be silence, withdrawal, denial of access, cutting resources, taking back trust. Sometimes removing benefits hurts more than confrontation. The threat works best when you do not repeat warnings. A boundary stated once and enforced once becomes law. A boundary stated 5 times without action becomes comedy. Never beg for respect. Make disrespect expensive. When others know that losing you means losing advantage, security, or opportunity, they will guard your goodwill like treasure. You must become someone they cannot afford to anger. Not because you are violent, but because you control value. Most people fear confrontation, so they let resentment rot inside them. But power doesn't rot. Power retaliates strategically. It waits for the right moment. You don't need to shout. You don't need to threaten loudly. Your calm reaction is the warning. Your silence after betrayal is the punishment. Your lack of access is the lesson. People notice when the gate they once walked through freely suddenly closes, and once they realize it was their choice that locked it, they discipline themselves in your presence, without you lifting a finger. Law No. 5. Use loyalty, don't trust it. The 5th law exposes human nature with surgical precision. Use loyalty, don't trust it. Loyalty is praised as a virtue, but in the real world it is fluid, conditional, and temporary. Most people are loyal only when it benefits them. They stand beside you when the sun shines, yet vanish at the first sign of rain. Machiavelli warned rulers never to build power on fragile emotions like loyalty or friendship, because when incentives change, hearts change with them. Wise leaders reward loyalty, but never depend on it. They build systems, not attachments. You must understand that betrayal is not an exception. It is a possibility waiting for the right price. The friend who smiles today could envy your success tomorrow. The employee devoted to you now may join your rival if offered more. The partner who swears eternal support may shift when fear or temptation whispers. This is not cynicism, it is awareness. The NG do not collapse when someone switches sides because they never rested their power on trust alone. They create structures where even betrayal causes minimal damage. Think of power like a kingdom. You don't give one guard the only key to the gate. You rotate, you divide, you monitor. You make sure no single person holds all leverage. That is how the elite operates. They keep people close, but not too close. They share opportunities, but never the crown. They offer advantages so followers remain dependent, motivated and grateful, but always replaceable. Loyalty is rewarded, yes, but verification never stops. Compliments are appreciated, but actions are measured. Promises are heard, but patterns are studied. Pay attention to how people behave when they gain something and when they lose something. Loyalty that fades under pressure was never loyalty, it was convenience. A true test of alignment is seen in silence, absence, discomfort. When you rise, many will cheer. When you fall, only a few remain. And those few should still not hold your entire empire. You must become a strategist, not a believer. You can value people, but you never give them unchecked power. You let them earn trust repeatedly, not inherit it once and forever. You reward the faithful, but you also prepare for the day the faithful may switch sides. Because power is not protected by hope. It is protected by preparation. The elite survive because they observe human nature without emotion. They know loyalty is a useful tool, not a foundation. Treat loyalty as a currency, not a guarantee. Exchange value for value, benefit for benefit, and never place your future in the hands of someone whose heart you cannot see into. Law No. 6. Appear weak before you strike. The sixth law is a predator's tactic wrapped in innocence. Appear weak before you strike. Most people reveal strength too early, boast about their plans, or show their power openly, thinking dominance will intimidate rivals into surrender. But real power doesn't roar, it waits, it watches, it lets opponents relax, underestimate, and expose themselves. Machiavelli understood that ambition is safest in the shadows. A serpent that reveals itself early is killed. A silent one coils under leaves, unnoticed, until the bite is inevitable. Imagine entering a room and acting like the smartest person there. You provoke resistance. But walk in quietly, ask questions, observe, and you'll watch egos unfold like a map. People reveal their strategies when they feel superior. They talk freely, they share information, they expose insecurity, all while believing you pose no threat. Appearing weak is not weakness, it is camouflage. It grants access, lowers defenses, and buys time. While they sleep on the battlefield, thinking you are harmless, you sharpen your blade. This tactic is used by nations in diplomacy, corporations in negotiation, and leaders in competition. They downplay strength to catch opponents off guard. They underpromise and overdeliver. They hide capabilities until their move is irreversible. When you look harmless, no one prepares for your victory. When you play small, no one blocks your rise. People focus on visible threats, be the invisible one. Let them believe they're winning. Let them underestimate you, because underestimation is the strongest shield a strategist can wear. You don't announce goals. You don't flaunt wealth. You don't reveal ambition until the structure around it is unbreakable. Build silently, then reveal loudly. The impact is greater when sudden. A quiet climb followed by an explosive triumph creates shock, confusion, surrender, and your rivals will regret every moment they dismissed you. They will look back and realize they were helping you climb, holding the ladder stable with their own arrogance. Appearing weak can mean humility in conversation, letting others talk more, pretending to know less, hiding your resources, agreeing before redirecting. You create an environment where others feel comfortable showing their hand while you hold yours close to the chest. You let them think they're leading, while you guide outcomes from underneath. Power grows safest in silence, behind a smile, under a layer of supposed softness. Then, when the moment is right, you step forward, strike with precision, and claim what no one thought you could take. Law No. 7. Engineer dependency. The seventh law is the architecture of long-term control. Engineer dependency. Power is never secure unless people need you. Not like you, not respect you, but depend on you. Loyalty can fade, fear can be challenged, respect can shift, but dependency chains a person to your throne. When someone believes they cannot move forward without you, they will protect you, defend you, and obey you, not out of devotion, but out of survival. The elite understand this better than anyone. They don't rule through authority alone, they rule through necessity. Look at how empires operate. Governments don't just provide, they create reliance. They feed, so hunger becomes a leash. They fund, so poverty becomes a cage. Corporations give convenience, then raise the cost of freedom. The world is built in a way where the powerful don't force submission. People volunteer because they fear life without them. That is engineered dependency, a slow tightening of support until it becomes irreplaceable. In your life, you apply this subtly. You become the person who solves problems others can't. You acquire skills others lack. You control information others need. You connect people to opportunities they dream of. And over time, you become the bridge no one wants to lose. The moment someone realizes low, seeing you means losing advantage, they treat you differently. Respect becomes caution. Relationships become investment. They stop competing with you, because competing means losing their source. Dependency is created when you offer value strategically. You don't give everything at once. You give just enough to make them return. You help them succeed, but not enough to surpass you. You provide resources, but you keep the key resource. You let them win battles while you hold the war. Never make others independent of you. Empower them just enough to function, but not enough to detach. A bird never flies away if it learns the sky is cold, and food is safer near the hand that feeds. People crave comfort, guidance, shortcuts. You give all three, but gradually, like water from a jug, make them see you as the solution, the one who understands, the one who makes things happen. They will seek you when problems rise, when decisions overwhelm, when opportunities appear. And when someone needs you, they rarely abandon you. They tolerate, they compromise, they stay. As long as dependency exists, rebellion remains inconvenient. The powerful don't ask for loyalty, they create conditions where loyalty becomes the most logical choice. And once dependency is formed, control follows as naturally as shadow follows light. Law No. 8. Break enemies completely. The 8th law is merciless but necessary for anyone seeking real power. Break enemies completely. Half victories are illusions. A rival left standing is a rival waiting for revenge. History is filled with leaders who showed mercy at the wrong moment, only to fall by the same blade they once spared. Machiavelli warned that if you must strike, strike in a way that eliminates the possibility of retaliation, not out of hatred, but out of strategy. A wounded enemy does not forget pain. They remember, they recover, and one day they turn sharper and more desperate. Look around. The elite do not remove threats slowly, they remove them decisively. When a CEO wants a competing voice gone, they don't just demote them, they discredit them, isolate them, make their influence evaporate. When a political figure becomes inconvenient, they are not argued with, they are silenced through scandal or insignificance. When one empire expands, it does not negotiate half of the land, it absorbs completely. Because fragments breed rebellion, completeness breeds peace. In your personal power journey, this law applies just as ruthlessly. When someone undermines you, you don't respond halfway, you don't engage in endless back and forth. You take control of the situation so thoroughly that they cannot challenge you again. If someone spreads rumors you don't defend, you destroy the rumor with a stronger truth. If someone tries to compete, you outwork them until comparison becomes laughable. If someone disrespects you repeatedly, you cut access, influence, and opportunity so their leverage evaporates. You remove the root, not just the leaves. This doesn't always mean confrontation. Sometimes breaking an enemy means breaking their ability to influence your world. You cut the connection that feeds them power. You remove attention, the oxygen they breathe. You take away the platform they stand on. You replace the confidence they have with uncertainty. When someone realizes they cannot win against you, they stop trying. Fear of loss shapes behavior faster than hope of gain. People often hold back because they want to appear kind, forgiving, morally superior. But morality without strategy is surrender. Power requires clarity. Either you neutralize a threat or accept the cost of its return. Even the quietest enemy studies your weaknesses. Even the smallest threat grows when ignored. You do not need to strike in anger. You strike with precision, with calm, with finality, not to destroy a person's life, but to destroy their power over yours. Those who hesitate become cautionary tales. Those who finish what they start become rulers. When the enemy is truly defeated, peace begins. Not peace gifted, peace enforced. This is how kingdoms survive centuries. This is how leaders secure legacy. This is how you eliminate future conflict before it breathes. Break enemies so completely that even the memory of challenging you feels like a mistake. Law No. 9. Weaponize patience. The 9th law is the art most people never master. Weaponize patience. Power doesn't belong to the fastest mover. It belongs to the one who waits for the perfect moment to strike. The world is full of impulsive people who react before thinking, speak before listening, fight before planning. They burn their energy in noise, while the patient strategist watches quietly, gathering information, waiting for the exact second when the advantage flips. Machiavelli knew that time itself can be a weapon. When used wisely, patience suffocates opponents, exposes their mistakes, and multiplies your strength without lifting a sword. Look at how great empires expand. They don't conquer every day. They prepare. They build, fortify, observe competitors weaken themselves, then take one clean step forward. The impatient general loses armies. The patient one wins wars. In life, careers, relationships, business, those who rush settle for scraps. Those who wait position themselves for the throne. Patience is not passive. It is preparation in silence. It is collecting leverage piece by piece until your victory becomes inevitable. Most people panic when results don't come quickly. They switch plans, chase shortcuts, expose desperation. But desperation signals weakness, and weakness invites predators. The patient player keeps a calm face even when the ground trembles. They don't reveal frustration. They don't beg. They don't chase approval or validation. Instead, they appear unaffected. And that calmness alone disrupts those who hope to see you crumble. Power is amplified when your emotions stay still while others drown in theirs. Weaponizing patience means understanding momentum. You don't push constantly, you push when the door is cracked open. You don't argue instantly, you wait until the moment your silence becomes heavy enough to make the other side fold. In negotiation, the first person to speak often loses, but the one who holds silence wins better terms. In conflict, letting an opponent exhaust themselves makes victory effortless. A boxer who rushes swings wildly, the one who breathes, observes, counterattacks, that is the one who ends the fight with a single strike. Patience lets opportunities grow. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight, yet it becomes unstoppable when roots take hold. You grow in private, you build skills when no one applauds, you accumulate knowledge while others party. Then one day the world calls you an overnight success, unaware that the night was years long. Slow power is lasting power. Quick power collapses quickly. The elite understand timing like a clockmaker understands gears. One wrong second destroys an entire mechanism. So they move only when leverage exists. They don't rush decisions driven by fear. They know momentum favors the one who endures longer. When you make patience your weapon, you stop reacting to life. You orchestrate it. You become the storm people sense but cannot predict, and uncertainty becomes your shield, because the one who strategically never arrives unprepared, and when they finally move, their step shakes the ground beneath every rival watching. Law No. 10. Never reveal your intentions. The 10th law is the cloak that protects every strategy beneath it. Never reveal your intentions. A plan exposed is a plan weakened. The moment people know what you want, they begin calculating how to stop you, slow you, or steal the prize for themselves. Ambition spoken too early invites jealousy. Goals shared too loudly invite sabotage. Machiavelli warned that secrecy is not an option, it is armor. You do not show your cards until the final move, when victory is already inevitable. Let them guess, let them doubt, let them underestimate you while you quietly construct the empire brick by brick behind closed doors. Study the powerful. They never show the full picture. They smile while they negotiate. They compliment while they strategize. They shake hands while planning transitions. Their words are smoke, their actions the fire behind it. They mislead with charm, distract with promises, and keep the real moves hidden until the board is already won. Information is leverage. When others know less about you than you know about them, control is one-sided. You see their intentions clearly while yours remain invisible. And the unseen player always holds advantage. In your life, this law becomes your shield. You don't announce your projects, you present results. You don't tell people your next step, you let them witness it. You don't brag about opportunities, you secure them first. Even in casual conversation, you practice restraint. When someone asks your plans, you speak broadly, never specifically. You talk about direction, not destination. You give the map, never the treasure mark. People sabotage what they see. They cannot stop what they cannot track. Those who reveal intentions seek validatio. N. Those who hide intentions seek victory. Ambition should be protected like a candle in the wind, shielded until the flame becomes a wildfire no storm can kill. Keep people guessing. When others don't know your endgame, they cannot design a counter-strategy. They don't know where to block you. They don't know where to attack. They don't know what you value most, which means they cannot use it against you. Mystery is not silence. It is dominance through uncertainty. You move with quiet confidence. You collect resources, allies, skills, leverage. You plant seeds where no one is watching, and by the time they realize what you were building, it's already towering above them. People respect results more than declarations. The world rewards the accomplished, not the loud planner. So you become the one who takes action quietly, then arrives with proof that leaves no debate. When people ask how you did it, they should hear about it only after it is done, not while it's in motion, because a goal pursued privately grows safely, and a strategy hidden thrives in shadows until daylight becomes your coronation. You've now sharpened 10 forbidden laws of power: virtue mask, narrative control, strategic silence, consequence, loyalty check, hidden strike, dependency, total defeat, patience, and invisible intent. Power is taken, never gifted. Claim your sovereignty. Choose to rule, not be ruled. If you want the next level of dominance, don't miss our upcoming video, Dark Psychological Tricks Used by World Leaders. Exposed. Turn on notifications. The elite won't like what's coming next.